What's up, everyone? It's Elijah with IH Pet Marketing, and in today's video, we are going to be covering the 5 easy changes that you can make to your website to drastically increase the amount of conversions that you get. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that if you follow through with me in this video and you make the changes I'm going to suggest, you will see double, triple, and for some of you, even quadruple the amount of conversions that you see currently on your website. And the best part is that making these changes will take you less than 24 hours. A lot of you guys can make all of these changes right after watching this video and instantly start seeing more conversions from your website. Now, with that said, if you don't know who I am, my name's Elijah. I'm the owner of a company called IH Pet Marketing. We're a marketing agency who's been working with dog trainers exclusively for the last 2.5 years to help them get more clients by deploying a series of client acquisition systems that we've refined over the last couple of years. At the time of this recording, we have around 35 dog training clients and have easily generated multiple millions of dollars in additional revenue for these clients. So what I'm going to share with you in this video is not just random stuff I found from ChatGPT. These are things that we do with our clients and have seen tangible results from making these changes to our clients' websites. And I'm going to share them with you right now. So with that said, let's get right into it. Now, before we start making changes to our website, we need to start with the basics and ask ourselves, why do we have this website here in the first place? What is the goal of our website? At the end of the day, the only function your website has is to consistently generate leads for your business. That is it. If it doesn't do this, then your website is useless. How does it generate leads for your business? It really just comes down to a simple chain made up of 4 actions. Right? So you guys just need to kind of simplify this stuff and go, why do we have our website? It's to generate leads. How does it generate leads? Really just comes down to this. 4 different actions here. We need a relevant stranger to encounter our website link. Then we need them to click the link. Then we need them to develop interest and opt in. That's it. Every link to this chain must be in place for your website to achieve its function. So for example, you might have your website being put in front of all sorts of relevant strangers, meaning dog owners who need training or have dogs and are maybe considering training. But if they're not clicking the link, then it doesn't matter. And you might have a bunch of relevant strangers who are encountering your website link and they're clicking it, but if your website isn't good enough to develop interest, then they're not going to opt in. So it doesn't matter if you're getting a bunch of traffic, high quality traffic to your website. And you might even have high quality traffic coming to your website, and you might have a good website that, evokes curiosity and makes them want to opt in. But if your phone number is hidden or your CTA button is hidden on your website and they can't find it easily, then they're not going to opt in. So every link to this chain needs to be put in place. Now, a big problem that I see a lot of you guys make is when you see that your website is underperforming, you automatically jump to traffic solutions, meaning how do we get more people to get to our website? So you go, oh, we need to work on SEO. We need to boost more social media posts. We need to write more blogs to show up in the search results more often. But if your website isn't built to convert, it doesn't matter how much traffic you get there because it's just people are just going to bounce when they go to your website. They're going to get there, realize it's not for them, and leave. So it's a losing battle when you're trying to get a bunch of traffic to your website to a website that's not built to convert. It's a leaky bucket, right? So before you start focusing on traffic to your website, focus on getting more conversions. And by getting more conversions, you will indirectly increase traffic as well. Because through more conversions means more clients. More clients tell people about your business, more people go to your website. Through more conversions means a good user experience. A good user experience signals to Google and other search engines that it works as a positive signal to these search engines and they start showing you up more in the search results. You can have a bunch of traffic going to your site, but if people bounce right away, Google recognizes a high bounce rate, and they're not going to show you in the search results as often as if you had a low bounce rate where people were actually enjoying the experience they were having on your website. So by focusing on conversions, you will indirectly increase traffic. With that said, still do things to increase traffic, but before you do that, make sure that your website is built to convert. Let's keep going on. So we're going to cover 5 easy changes you can make today to significantly increase your website conversions. Now, we need to first ask ourselves, what makes a website convert well? It really just comes down to this list of criteria here. Your website needs to be simple. Less is more. Again, don't start adding things to your website with the assumption that by adding more, you're able to speak to more people and convert more people. Less is more. When in doubt, less is more. If it doesn't help you get more phone calls or form submissions, don't add it. Scannability, right? So people do not read, they scan. So you need to make sure your website is built for scannability. You need to make sure it's intuitive. You don't want to have big blocks of text. Use bullet points, use images, use small sentences, things that are scannable. Relevance, right? So your website needs to be relevant. You need to where they are and where they want to be, right? So your website needs to be able to communicate to people, hey, I understand your situation. We have a solution for you. Or rather, I understand your situation. I understand the goals and the desires that you have, meaning I understand you have this leash pulling issue. I understand you want to be able to have off leash freedom and go to parks stress free with your dog. And we have a solution for that as well. Where they are, where they want to be, and your solution is the bridge to that gap. Credibility, trust building elements, very important. You can say all the fancy stuff, you can say all these things about your business and how amazing it is. At the end of the day, you got to be able to support those claims with some social proof and some credibility elements. Super, super important. We're going to dive more into all this stuff in a minute here. I just wanted to cover these principles with you guys. Call to action. Make sure your call to action is easily visible and clearly instruct action. Mobile responsive. 80% of your users will be on a mobile device. The vast majority of people will be on phones. So make sure your website is built for phones. It's easy to build a website on a desktop and only think about it from the desktop view as far as design and everything. Think about it on mobile as well. Vast majority of your users are going to be on mobile. So optimize your website to work well for mobile. With that said, now let's dive into the 5 easy changes you can make today that will have a big impact on your website's conversions. So, first thing we have here is put CTAs above the fold plus add more CTAs. So this is a big one, guys. This is a big one, and that's why it's the first one here. A lot of you guys are missing out on so many conversions simply because you just don't have your CTA, your call to action, the button that says, book now, get started, contact us today. You don't have that easily visible on your website. It's hiding, it's not put there enough, and that's going to cost you so many conversions from something so simple. So here's a few examples, all right? All right, so first let me read this little description I have here. So majority of users, roughly 50 to 75%, won't scroll below the top of the page, which means you're missing out on a ton of potential opt-ins by simply not having a button to click. Right, so you have to remember when someone clicks on your website, you have the above the fold section, and that is the section that that's the top of your website basically. Anything below the top of your website, the very top section, anything below that is you're no longer above the fold anymore. So everything at the top of your website is what's considered above the fold. That's the only place on your website where you can guarantee everyone who clicks on your website link will end up. Meaning, if you're gonna have a call to action button, it better be above the fold because that's the one place where 100% of website visitors will be. Next thing is make your CTAs more visible. So remove friction by ensuring users never have to hunt for your CTA. It should always be clearly accessible the moment someone is ready to opt in. So if your website is good enough to evoke some interest in a user and they say, all right, cool, I want to move forward, make sure that button is right in plain sight. Don't make them hunt for it on your website and go, oh, where's the phone number? Where's the button? Let me click here. Let me click there. Every little bit of friction you add, every little micro action a user has to take, the less likely they're going to convert. So make it very easy for someone to see your call to action at any point in time on your website. Now, here's a few examples I wanted to cover with you guys. These are real websites of real dog trainers, and all these images are above the fold sections. So it's the top of their website. And they're making a big mistake because they don't have a CTA above the fold. So if you go to this website here, they have a phone number, and that's great. They should even have text above it that says, tap to call or something like that. But they don't have like a nice orange button that says, you know, start today, get started, book your free phone consultation, book your free evaluation. Like they need to have a button here, and they don't have that. And they're missing out on a lot of conversions because of that. And this next one here. So this is another dog training company. When you go to their website, this is what you see. I absolutely love this background image, but there is no CTA. And I don't have it here in the screenshot, but if you keep scrolling down on their website, there is no button except for at the very bottom, the footer section of the website. And you can see how that will cause a lot of users to bounce. Because when they land here and they're shopping with five other trainers, they go, oh, like look at this dog training company. They look pretty credible. Look at this guy holding this nice award here, and they got the team here with their brand gear on. Great, let me opt in. Where? Where's the button? Where do I start? Where's the form? Right? I don't even know if they have a number up here. And they're missing out on a ton of conversions because of that. So definitely need to have a CTA here. And they do have a CTA. It's just on the bottom of their website. It's hidden at the bottom, at the footer section. And it's a free evaluation, I think, too, which is a great offer for new users. They need to have that button up here at the top. Here's another one here, right, where this is their above the fold section. They have their number up here, and that's it. And then nothing else. There's no button to get started. So for a user to find out more, they are forced to scroll down, click around, and look. We want to reduce friction. Don't make your users think when they're on your website. Now I have this one at the bottom here, and this is an example of a good above the fold section as far as the CTA goes. So as you see here, we have this company, Ridside Canine. When you land on their website, you see two buttons, and both of these buttons do the same thing. You have a red one here that says book training, and you have an orange one that says get expert dog training. It's like that's all you need. Just do that, and you'll see more conversions. Just add your CTA above the fold, and you'll see more conversions. And again, don't just add it above the fold. Add it frequently throughout your whole website. You need to sprinkle your CTA all over your website. Like I'm talking anywhere from 3 to 7 buttons per page. If it's a long page, like a home page, put probably 5 to 7 buttons, CTA buttons throughout that home page. If it's a smaller page, maybe add 3 to 5, right? But like I said, for this example here, this company here, they didn't have one CTA on this page except for the footer section. And so you had to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to the very bottom before you can actually opt in. You don't want that. So make sure your CTAs are above the fold, and make sure you sprinkle CTAs all over your website, right? You want it to be very easy for someone to opt in. All right, change number 2 is to keep your forms simple. The more questions you add on your form, the less people will opt in. Simple as that. We must remember, guys, a visitor on your site is simply just visiting. They don't know, like, or trust you yet, and likely have 5 other trainers under consideration. Don't ask for details as if someone is signing up to be a client. Only collect what you need to qualify them as a lead. Remember, we're optimizing our website for leads. Let your sales process handle the deeper questions later. You'll get more leads and close more sales this way. So by shrinking your form, not only will you get more leads because you have, instead of 20 questions, you only have 5, but also when you're on the sales call with these people and you are tailoring the sales call to their questions and their own nuanced objections, you are creating a stronger connection with that person and are much more likely to close the sale. So don't ask for details as if someone is signing up to become a client. They're simply just visiting. Only collect what you need to qualify them as a lead. Here's an example of a form that's way too long. And this is for a new client. This is a new client inquiry form. So again, just to like give context. So imagine you're a dog owner and you're dealing with a bunch of issues and you go online to find a solution. There's a good chance you're looking at reviews, looking at your local dog trainers, and you might have 3 to 5 dog trainers that you're interested in. And let's say this is one of them. You go and you click on the button to, new client inquiry form, and you go here and you have all these questions. First name, last name, that's totally fine. Phone, email, that's totally fine. Pronouns, I guess. Um, but then we just start getting into all these other questions, right? What services are you interested? That's okay. Again, you can handle this on the sales call, but please include names and ages of all humans in your home. Please provide the names, ages, and breed of all pets and whether they're spayed or neutered. When and where did you get your dog? Please specify breeder, rescue, name, age at adoption, and any prior homes of which you are aware. How old is your dog? How can we help? What is your vet? Upload your vet records. Right? Does your dog have health problems? More checkboxes, more checkboxes, more checkbox. You can see how does your dog feel about guests to your home? Happy, anxious, protective? What does your dog do when guests come to your home? Please be specific. This person is not a client yet, and they're being asked to upload vet records and answer all these questions. It's too early in the customer journey to ask all these questions, and you can see how someone who is shopping around and looking at 3 or 4 or 5 other trainers who might have interest in your company would shy away from opting in when they run into this big form. It's too much, too early on in the sales cycle. If anything, get the lead. Just ask first name, last name, phone, email, dog's age, dog's breed, what are the dog's issues? That's like 8 questions. I wouldn't do any more than that. And then ask these other questions later. Or if they do commit and they're ready to move forward, send them this form later. But not now, it's too early on. So keep your form simple, guys. Next thing is be concise. And so this is a big one, and this kind of falls into where I was mentioning simplicity and less is more in scannability. We don't want to have big, large bodies of text on our website. People are in a rush, and people don't like to read. So be concise. Large bodies of text. Most people won't read it, defeating its purpose. So it's one of those things where by adding too much and trying to achieve too much, you achieve nothing. That's kind of what it's like when you add a big wall of text with all this information and all these details. You're trying to give someone a bunch of information, you're trying to give them a bunch of details, but because you have this big wall of text, they're just going to not read it at all, and it just is going to fall flat. So be concise. Most people won't read it, defeating its purpose, and too much information this early will work against you, not for you. Remember, your website's function is to generate leads. That's it. You need to strike a balance between what kind of information you include and how much of it. Leverage emotions like pain, desires, and curiosity as the drivers for action this early in your customer's journey. Save the educating, qualifying, and objection handling for the sales call. Optimize for leads on your website. Save the educating, the qualifying, and the objection handling for the sales call. Here's an example of large bodies of text that you don't want on your site. Okay, so here's the first one. Areas of expertise. As soon as someone sees this big wall of text, they're going to look the other way. They're not going to read this. Okay, and if they do, they're just going to scan it very quickly. You're much better off shortening each of these little these little bodies of text here. Shorten them down to like 1 sentence, 2 sentences, make it more concise. Okay. Here's another one. And this one isn't too bad. But again, I'm just trying to convey the point of like you guys don't want these big walls of text. That scares people away. Break up your text into smaller sentences. Use things like images and arrows and things to support the text and make it easy for someone to scan over it and still understand what you're trying to say. You know, things like this. This is too much. People aren't going to read this. They're going to roll right past it. This is a waste of prime website space, and it could be utilized much better. Okay. So avoid these big walls of text. Be concise. Use bullets. Use images. Make it easy for someone to scan. This is a big one here. Add more social proof. So a lot of you guys have great reviews online. 5-star reviews, 30, 50, 100 different reviews on Google, but it's nowhere to be found on your website. And you're making all these big claims about how awesome you guys are and what makes you different and the benefits of your website, but then you don't have any social proof to help support those claims. And at the end of the day, I think I wrote it here, humans are more skeptical than ever of big promises and bold claims. Social proof is your biggest lever for building trust and convincing people you are good at what you do. Sprinkle social proof all over your website, widgets, snippets, and images, etc. So again, a lot of you guys are saying all these awesome things about your business, but you're not using social proof. People nowadays are more skeptical than ever of businesses, and they trust what other people say about your company a lot more than what you say about your company. And they expect you to say your company is awesome. So use social proof. I can't stress it enough. It's a massive lever for getting the conversion. Here's an example of some social proof being used on various websites. So for example, this is an above the fold section on a website. And right here, they have a little Google review widget, right? Excellent on Google, 4.8 out of 5 based on 84 reviews. And so when you're saying all these awesome things about your business, someone's going to read that, glance over, and then see this social proof that just bolsters these claims you made and makes them that much more likely to go, oh shit, this person can really do what they say they do. Let me opt in. And here goes another example of a good of using good social proof. This is an above the fold section. And all these markups are from a previous video I did on landing pages. So you can ignore most of these markups except for this one here that says social proof. So this is an above the fold section on a website. When you land here, this is what you see. And at the top, so they're saying all these awesome things about their business, right? And then at the top they have 5 stars, rated 5 out of 5 stars with over 150 reviews. And then they have a nice review snippet down here, life-changing results. My little Jack Russell was so reactive. They have a cute little story. Then they have the user's name. They have the 5 stars, the Google review logo. So you can see how adding this social proof does so much in supporting your big claims and getting people to actually take that jump. And if we go down a bit more here, we have another example of really good social proof. So imagine on your website, you're saying all these awesome things about your business. You're the best in the area, 5-star rated. You have all these cool benefits about your business, and someone likes what they see, and they scroll down a bit more and they run into this section. This section that has 3 videos of real clients saying awesome things about you, and beneath that, more social proof via a Google widget that includes what people are saying about your business and also adding the images below that the people are uploading with their reviews. It's like this section right here does so much work in getting someone to go, all right, let me check this company out. And a lot of you guys have reviews like this. You might not necessarily have these testimonial videos. If you don't, absolutely get them. Give people $500 off their program if they're willing to do a video like this for you. That's how important these are here. Grab a few of these, make them. If you don't have these though, even just having this little widget here, a slider of your reviews and what people are saying about you, does so much in supporting your big, bold claims and getting people to take that leap and opt in. Last one we have here. So before I get to that, just one more time, guys. Social proof, literate, all sprinkle it, literate, whatever word you want to use, all throughout your website. It's I can't stress how important it is in getting people to convert. 5, optimize for mobile responsiveness. So I mentioned that here, mobile responsive, 80% of users will be on a mobile device. And I had to put it again here in suggestion number 5 here. So a lot of you guys, again, your website is built great for desktop, but then when it's on mobile, the text might be really large, the buttons might be hidden, right? If someone goes to fill out your form might not be optimized for a mobile device. So maybe your form kind of slides horizontally on someone's phone, All that stuff is bad. So make sure your desktop version is good, but make sure your mobile version is good. So when people land on your website on the mobile version, what does the above the fold section look like? Does it have social proof? Does it have a visible CTA, a visible button, right? Get started now. Does it have CTAs sprinkled throughout the page? When someone goes and clicks on the CTA and it opens the form up, is the form optimized for a mobile device or is the form enlarged and off screen where someone has to slide horizontally to fill out the form, right? Like those are very simple changes that you can make that will have a big impact on the amount of conversions you get. And so make sure your website is mobile optimized. So let's go ahead and cover the 5 things we just went over. First thing is put CTAs above the fold. Very, very important. And add more CTAs throughout your website. Just this one change will make a big difference. Keep your forms simple. Do not make your forms too long. Keep them short, anywhere from 5 to 8 questions. Be concise. Don't try to put a bunch of information all over your website trying to please everybody. You're going to end up pleasing no one, and people are going to bounce. Keep your sentences short. Be purposeful as to why you have them there. Add bullet points, add images, add intuitive elements that make it easy for people to scan your website and digest the words you're saying. Add more social proof. This is a huge one. A lot of you guys have great reviews. Use those things. Put them all over your website. I promise they'll do way more work at selling your business than any fancy text that you can come up with yourself. Use social proof. It's the easiest lever to sell your business. Okay. 5, optimize for mobile responsiveness. So important. Most people on your website are going to be on their phone. So make sure your website is optimized for phones. Now we have a couple bonus things here, right? A couple bonus changes that you guys can make. First one is stock images, all right? So I hate when I see websites with stock images. It bothers me a lot. And the big reason why is to kind of piggyback off of what I said earlier, where humans are more skeptical. Humans are more skeptical than ever. When you have stock images on your website or AI images, people know that it's AI, people know that it's a stock image, and you're instantly creating you're disguising your business. Your business lacks transparency. You're creating a wedge of distrust between you and the user on your website. People want to see your company. They want to see you. They want to see what it will be like to work with you. And images can do so much for portraying that. But if you just have stock images, it has the opposite effect. You create no connection with the user. If anything, you create a disconnect because people can recognize that this is AI, that this is stock image, and they might go, I want to work with a company, not a disguise of a company or a shell of a company, right? So here's a few examples here. These are all 3 different websites. We have an above the fold section here. I'm sure many of you watching this have seen this same stock image. I've seen this stock image plenty of times. And here it is on the above the fold section. They would be way better off adding a picture of their team, adding a picture of them training a dog, them with a dog, um, standing in front of their facility or standing in front of a wrapped van with their branding all over it. That would be a much better choice of imagery for the above the fold section than this stock image. And then here we have, stock images, obviously stock images, AI images, right? It's like, no, add real images, guys. Again, these are their services they offer, more stock images, add real images. So important. And then last one, this little bonus change here, legibility, guys. Make sure it's easy to read your website. People mess this up a lot, and it's a pretty big mistake. Because again, it's like if you're gonna have text here, you have it there because you want people to read it. Well, they ain't gonna read it if it looks like this. So here's a couple examples of poor legibility where you just could hardly read the text, right? So as you can see, we got this colorful background with white text on top, and it even looks like the white text has like some low transparency. And so it's really hard to see, or rather to read this text. And this scares people away. This annoys people. Another one here, Balanced Canine. I'm sure they're a great company. I don't know of them. Certainly not trying to bash them by any means. This is just, my opinion. But again, here, we have this background of the husky, and then which is a white and black dog, and then we have white text on top of it. Um, you can read the headline here pretty easily, but this text down here is difficult to read. So make sure your guys' website is legible. All right. Now, I can go on and on and on about changes you can make on your website. If you guys would like more videos like this, let me know. But these are the 5 simple changes that you can make today to have a drastic increase in conversions from your website. All right, if you enjoyed this video or if you have any questions, go ahead, leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be dropping a ton of valuable content for dog trainers on this channel. And if you don't want to do any of this yourself and you want to have our company look at your website, see what you can change, or even look at building a new website for you, feel free to click the link below this video. Full transparency, if you click the link, it's going to take you to another video where I try to pitch you our services. So if you don't want to be pitched, don't click the link. But if you would like us to work with you, I would love to talk. Go ahead and click the link below to do that. And with that said, that's it. Make these changes, guys. It'll help your website out a lot. See you in the next one.